What's going on, DFS Army? Craig Bennett, aka CashKeg here. Gonna do a NBA sim model tutorial just to kind of talk about it a little bit so you get a little bit of understanding of what it's about. We had it last year, we brought it back. We had old Wes update it for us. And like everything we're trying to do now, we automate everything so it's not having to be ran manually and only updated a few times through the day because of how intensive it is and time consuming. So with this, it is all automated and it makes it way more useful. And he did a fantastic job on it. So I just want to talk about it a little bit here, run through some things. Again, this is for both DraftKings and FanDuel. You got both tabs down here at the bottom when you do pull up the sim model. But if you want to see the sim model, again, dfsarmy.com, go to the NBA tab, head on over here to the simulation model. When you hit that, it'll just pull this up. And again, this is the web version of it. So I talked about this in the Research Station tutorial, but I will cover it again for those who did not listen to that one. The the sim model updates every 30 minutes. So as I make changes into the projections and we get injury news and update minutes and all that, the sim model actually will run. And it's updated every 30 minutes though on the web version. Now it gets up the data behind it gets updated live in real time. And if you download this version of the sim model, it'll be updated probably in about 10 minutes. Now the Research Station is every 5 minutes, but because this has to run 4,000 simulations, and that's right, the NBA sim model runs 4,000 simulations and gives us an average on what the consistency and projections of those simulations. It takes a little bit of time to run, so it does take a little bit more time in the Excel version. And let me go into that a little bit. Down here at the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the full version workbook. And this, if you hit this button, basically all this is doing is opening up another tab, open up your OneDrive, and it is putting it into Excel Online mode. So if you're having any issues with it, if you're doing it online, I recommend using the Excel Online mode. And it just a little bit more smoother than having the web version. But it's not downloading. It's still going to be 30 minutes until it updates. But again, it's very simple. Hit that button and it'll pull it up here. Now, if you want to download the sim model, you come down here and it's the first button. You click on download. It will download this thing. And this is very similar to the Research Station. Once you download it, it is good for a month until we change the link. The sim model will be good a month. Hit enable editing up here. And basically it's just making that connection to the data source. Enable content. And here we go. Voila. It is now in Excel. Now, I like the Excel version just because I prefer Excel. I prefer doing DFS online. It's just a lot easier. And I like having the Excel version on my desktop. This updates every 5 minutes. Now, if you don't touch it, it's every 30 minutes. But if you come up here to the data tab at the very top and you hit refresh all, it's going to go to that data source that it's connected to, and it's going to pull down the latest data set. Now, like I said, if we get any injury news and we update the minutes, it still might not update for 10, maybe 15 minutes because it still has to run all those 4,000 simulations. So it's going to take a little bit of time. However, it's going to be up to date to that point where last year that we did have it, it was only as good as many times we ran it. And we usually ran it once in the morning and then maybe 3 or 4 hours before lock. But this is actually going to give you up-to-date data all the way up until lock. So even past that, as I update projections all the way through, the last games, you can still see that data as well. So one thing here, again, you can see all of the players, DraftKings, FanDuel, and then, you got your player position tabs. So if you only want to see centers, you come in here, unselect, select all. I just want to see centers. So now I got all the centers that are in play. Want to come back in here, pull them all back up. Now, we don't have buttons for this one like we have Research Station. If that's something you want to see, we can probably do. But these filter tabs are extremely easy. This is why I actually prefer doing it. But let's just come in here and we're just like, okay, I only want point guards here. Let's see all the point guards. So very easy to do. Then if I want to go further, I can select the teams, by unselecting all and just select the teams I want. So extremely easy to filter. It's just the way I prefer it. But if we want those buttons, I'm sure that we could add them as well, like we do the Research Station. Again, over here, the minutes. The minutes are just, again, the minutes per game. They're going to update as we get injury news, which is fantastic. And then the big thing here is the percentile scoring, where you have the floor, 25th, the median, 50, 75th, and ceiling. Now, I've talked about this a lot. If you've seen any of the videos that I talk about how when you're doing mass multi-entry and you hand select a few guys that you want to see as your ceiling play, like maybe Clint Capela today, I think is going to have another ceiling game, and we only have him projected for 45, right? Well, I think that ceiling game is going to happen, and I don't know what, you're confused and you don't know exactly what projection to put on him. You can come down here and find Clint Capela. He has a 47 median projection in the sim model, but he has a ceiling of 60. Well, I can take that 60, I can go into the domination station, and I can just update the projection, because you can go in there and update the projection and give him a 60. It's extremely easy to do. It's one thing I like using these tools for. If you don't are comfortable to know what his ceiling is, you can just come in the sim model and find it and write down or just copy and paste that projection in there. So, for instance, Clint Capela is a 60. I go in there, find Clint Capela on DraftKings, and it's whatever his projection is, I just type in 60. So that's a real handy way to do things. The other thing that's fantastic about the sim model is just looking at the consistency. How often in those 4,000 simulation is he hitting 5.5x value, 6x value, 6.5x value of his current salary? So if we look down here at Clint Capela, in those 4,000 simulations at his price of $8,300 on DraftKings, he is hitting 6x almost 42% of the time. I mean, that's extremely high. So when you see things like that, you're like, okay, well, he might be a fantastic cash option in the matchup, the minutes that he's getting and we projected, and then after the simulation. That is unreal at 6x at 40%. So as you can see, Ben Simmons only 5%. Well, do I really want to run Ben Simmons if I'm having a comparison here? Brogdon at 29%, so about 13% lower than Capela's actually hitting. So maybe that leans me more Capela. So that's kind of how you use this sim model tool. It's very self-explanatory. It's just taking, the data that we have with the updated injury news, which again is very key because minutes adjust when guys are out, and it will simulate this and it'll give you an output. So I think the sim model is more useful later in the day than the Research Station is something you should use in the morning. Find that information in the morning on the Research Station, get those players in my player pool, and then as we get injury news, I like to come in here and see where things are hitting, where the value's hitting at. If I want to see the 6x, we got Capela at 42% there. Van Fleet's 27%, 6x. I'm really looking for the 6x mark. Lauri Markkanen's at 27%. Maybe I want to look at him. Dragic, 35%. Derrick Rose at 35%. So I'm looking at these bigger numbers here. Alec Burks at 44%. And then kind of back check that to your list and say, well, he's only 10% owned or 5% owned. Maybe I want to take a shot at him because the sim model is really pushing him out. Jalen Brunson, 37%. And then we get down here to Boogie Cousins. I talked about him. If you see something like this is when you almost hit a lock button play for me. When you see a guy at 8x and you see everyone else like nothing, and you see Boogie Cousins at 4,400 because the reason he is this high is not an error, is because he is severely underpriced because we have no Wood. Christian Wood is out tonight. So Boogie Cousins should start at 4,400. And so when you see numbers like this should kind of tell you this is an all or nothing play. You're not going to see numbers like this that often. And this just screams, if you're looking for value in the sim model, it screams value. Hey, this guy's going to smash. I mean, even look at this, points consistency, getting out there to this mark, at this price point. There's nobody around this price point that's pushing 60 at 2% here in the sim model at 4,000. Like, you're looking out here 2% at 45. We're looking at Jalen Brunson, but at 45, we're at 23% with Boogie. So if you just want to look at value, the sim model is very good for that. Again, you can just scroll down here on both FanDuel and DraftKings, kind of see, and if you see blank spots, we just don't have any minutes projected for him, so he was not in that game. It's not an error. And then again, as you're scrolling through here, it's just hits you in the face that, DeMarcus Cousins is going to be a smash play. So it's a real quick way to find value as well, seeing the minutes that we have. And it's something that I really like to use when it comes to just solidifying either the plays that I have, or maybe I'm in here and I'm like, well, I'm looking for guys that are getting me over 40 points. Why is Baisley, 18% for 35 or 10% chance for 40? And that's the best in this range. Well, if he's sub 5%, maybe I want to take a chance on him. Or Vanderbilt, he's at 15-7. If he's not popping in the ownership projections, is just like, well, maybe I'll take a shot on him on the sim model, or maybe I'll go back and look at him a little bit more and question that. So again, it's a very simple tool, but a very powerful one, and the stuff you can get out of it. Again, I love the percentile scoring. If I want to find and adjust in the domination station of a 75th percentile is what I prefer over the ceiling in a few guys. If you want to do the ceiling on a couple guys, I get it. And it's a very easy way to make those adjustments. And again, the big thing here is to understand that if you download it, it's good for a month until we change the Excel link. And it updates every 5 minutes, but closer to 15 for the data because it has to rerun everything. So, but fantastic. Come up here, just hit refresh all, and it'll pull down the latest after it's been ran. Fantastic tool. Really love it. I hope you enjoy it as well. And it's just one more tool in your toolbox over here at DFS Army. And with that, I'm Craig Bennett, CashKeg. Got any questions or concerns or input, just come into the tab. We have in our chat idea and suggestions. And if you would like to see something else added to it, just go in there and drop a suggestion. We're here at DFS Army, are here to help you out. And we are more than happy to answer your concerns or questions. And I hope this video helps. With that, appreciate you. I'm out.